God, I'm old. I mean, no, I'm not really old, but sometimes when I have to explain what dial-up was, what joysticks were, or how all the game's content used to be sold to you on one disc up front, I really do feel ancient. For instance, this week I learned that all the way back in 1998, when I was a wee lad of 8 years old, Cher was topping the music charts, Titanic was smashing into the box office, and the Sony PS1 was hitting its stride of game releases that would go on to become classics. In fact, Gran Turismo, the game that ushered in a new wave of highly realistic racing games and ended up being the second highest grossing game in the UK and US of that year, was released on the 1st of May 1998, making it officially 25 years old tomorrow. 25 years old. How can this be true? I remember playing this game yesterday thinking that this blocky mishmash of pixels was the best a game was ever going to look. And now, it's 25 years later, and graphics have easily improved by, 7, maybe 8%, I guess. Well, while I have no idea where the last quarter of a century went, I do know what the next 10 minutes has in store. Because I'm Lorne, and here are 10 things we learned this week. Kicking us off, let's get the drama out of the way. This week we learned that we finally have reached the zenith of realism in gaming, because this week we learned that Unrecord, a game from French developer Drama, which has been described as a police bodycam game by critics and as an immersive narrative experience by the dev, has been scrutinised for being too realistic to actually be real, and even if it is real, it's been criticised for being in poor taste. By the dev's own admission, the game is a blend of Firewatch and Ready or Not. The latter is worth noting, as it originally had plans to include a less than ideal level design. It seems Drama is doing all it can to make things hard for themselves concerning the nature of the game's content, but with regards to its presentation and gameplay, they've confirmed it was made using Unreal Engine, and the trailer footage is taken directly from gameplay. The dev later followed up by posting additional footage from the game showing its editor in action, including real-time movements via Steam. Impressive stuff, but proof positive that while Drama has technology advances to be excited about, their public relations lags behind that of even CDPR. In ridiculously cute news this week, we learnt that a crochet creator called Kim's Threads has made a functional DDR pad out of crocheting yarn, weaving conductive thread in between the crochet pattern, and plugging her contraption into the open source software project Arduino. How cool is that? This doodad is a miniature one, but there's no reason you couldn't make one to scale and fix it to a playmat to avoid falling on your butt. And imagine if you managed to crank out one of these bad boys. That would really blow your Gram's mind. Imagine the next time you're round to hers to raid the biscuit tin and you run out of family anecdotes to share. Not to worry, it's time to rock Dance Dance Revolution like it's 1999. And to try not to question where Grandma learnt to twerk from. Are you the kind of gamer or gamette who enjoys posting your gameplay exploits to social media? Well, bad news. This week we learned that if you're on an Xbox and you want to post images to Twitter, then you're plumb out of luck, because this week Xbox confirmed that players no longer have the ability to share screenshots directly to Twitter. Of course, this being the dark timeline, this was only discovered after players took to social media to ask why the ability had stopped responding. And Xbox responded by claiming that the feature was disabled, but you could still share your favourite moments via the Xbox app. Now, in Xbox's defence, they later set out step-by-step instructions on how to keep sharing your screenshots via Twitter using your phone, but you'll still need to use an Xbox app on Android or iOS to do so. It may even be the case that they were contending with the new screw-ups, highly optimised improvements recently made by Elon Musk to Twitter, and the great blue checkmark exodus of Ort 23 that followed. And when has Elon ever put a foot wrong when it comes to Twitter? In other news, shock and awe as Elon Musk appears to have put a foot wrong when it comes to Twitter. This week we learned that as a result of the aforementioned great blue checkmark exodus of Ort 23, Twitter's new policy that organisations must pay up to $1,000 a month for a gold verified checkmark is causing just the biggest nightmare when it comes to fake game announcements and news. Many notable game companies no longer have the checkmark on Twitter, including PlayStation, Nvidia, AMD, and Nintendo of Europe, and have so far refused to stump up the ground it would take to satisfy Elon that they are indeed who they claim to be. An early example of this was a fake announcement for a remake of SSX Tricky, which was posted to Twitter yesterday by an account claiming to be a revival of EA Sports' Berg. Gaming, of course, is not the only victim of the pandemonium. And frankly, I can't be sure who's real anymore. Am I real? Am I dreaming you? Or are you dreaming me? Hey guys, want to see a dead body? Actually, no. Want to see something worse than a dead body? Well, good job, because this week we learnt that AI isn't just responsible for the end of all human endeavour, and indeed heralds our ultimate destruction, but also they don't seem to understand how human hands function. Because this week we got a look at some AI-generated games console controllers, and my word, that's a whole lot of ugly crammed into a handheld device. Someone asked mid-journey for some images of a person having fun playing video games, and these monstrosities are what we got back. But if I'm being completely honest, and I don't know about you, I'm kind of curious to see what playing a game on these would look like now. Hey Cyril, I've got a great idea for a new game series for you. This week we learnt that E3 has been cancelled, because the show, quote, did not garner the sustained interest necessary. E3's return this year was announced in June 2022, right around the time that E3 2022 had been cancelled coincidentally, and the event was supposed to be held from June the 13th through till June the 16th at the Los Angeles Convention Center. It would have been the first in-person E3 since 2019, and without COVID in the way, plus a few years into the current generation of games consoles, you'd think it was full steam ahead. But sadly, it was not to be. Between each publisher, developer, and indeed console maker showcasing their wares in the open market that is the internet these days, as well as their own social media channels, the need for a bespoke show has dwindled in recent times. And I hope this isn't the end for the merry melody that was E3, but for now, it would certainly appear. That's all, folks. Great news! If you're the kind of gamer who loves seeing a giant red pecker. This week, free off their purchase by Sega, Rovio decided that what we all needed in our lives was to see Red from Angry Birds play a cheeky game of smash or pass using video game characters as their fodder. Characters like Zelda, Ezio, Tracer, Bayonetta, Junko, and Ishima, and Steve from Minecraft were on the pecking order of smashies, with Fire Emblem Awakening Starja getting a full-throated mommy. Listen guys, I know you're trying to butter us up for the Sonic Angry Birds movie crossover and the inevitable Twilight-style triangle of love between Red, Sonic and Eggman you'll be peddling, but the level of ooh in this video cannot adequately be put into words, so it's going to be a hard pass from me. This week we learnt that the definition of a pre-order bonus might need some workshopping, because this week we learnt that the 10-year development cycle hell that was Dead Island 2 was finally over, having released last week, and gone on to sell over 1 million units so far. The developer, Dambuster Studios, teased some good news, but also confirmed some bad news. As far as the good news, quote, a few of you are asking about New Game Plus. This is being looked at by the development team, so keep an eye on the Dead Island 2 social channels for updates, which will be helpful for those looking to replay the game with all 6 playable characters. But the bad news? One of the pre-order bonuses for the deluxe versions of the game won't be available to download until around June 2023 at the earliest. If you pre-order the Gold/Deluxe/Hell A edition, you'll receive bonus character packs for Amy and Jacob. These will be available for download soon after release. Soon translating to nearly 3 months after release, it seems, which, I don't know, kind of defeats the purpose of a pre-order, right? I'm not sure, but let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Along with the inability to formulate ergonomically logical games controllers, this week it's been revealed that Square Enix released an AI-driven remake of the 1983 title The Portopia Serial Murder Case onto Steam. By using machine learning, specifically natural language processing, to try and link the player's input to the correct or desired answer for this visual novel/adventure style game, they attempted to help players complete the game more easily. However, users have reported their displeasure that the technology appears to be broken, leaving players with text inputs that are just as frustrating, if not worse, than the original, which was made over 30 years ago and designed by Yuji Horii, creator of the NES classic Dragon Quest. Frankly, fans of the game would probably have just been happy with a traditional remake of Portopia with better graphics. But the news that Dragon Quest fan Ferrison NA has collected his 1000th copy of Dragon Quest, and the reverence that Portopia is still held in, at least Horii can be sure his legacy is secure. And finally this week, let's bookend a show kicking off with some racing news, with some more racing news, because this week we learnt that the gaming world is going karting mad. Firstly, Disney Speedstorm launched. It's a free-to-play kart racer with a multi-platform spin on Mario Kart starring Disney characters such as Sully, Mickey Mouse, Belle and Mulan, letting you race across tracks based on different movies, including collectible power-ups that let you damage your opponents, increase your speed or defend yourself from attack, etc. It even includes drifting, which helps you earn extra boost. So yeah, Mario Kart basically. But if that seems a bit too cutesy for you, then fear not, because this week a Forge-crafted minigame focused on Halo-inspired vehicular mayhem has dropped, and it's a full-on kart racing experience. It's filled with classic Halo characters, weapons, and teeny tiny little warthogs. It's officially called Cursed Halo again, but it's also been dubbed Halo Kart. And this is much more visceral and explosion-filled, with a couple of different maps. It certainly has less polish. but you can't deny how much of a laugh it looks. What with the cutesy boxes, the colourful backgrounds contrasting the gunfire and plasma bolts, and wait, Goku and Dante make an appearance? You can even get out of your vehicle and gun players down FPS style. Oh man, I gotta give this a try. Because of course, in both cases, you can bet your ass Nintendo is smelling a lawsuit, so who knows how long they're going to be available for. But while lawsuits get filed, game trends come and go, and AI may indeed one day take over the world, the one thing that is certain is that, gamers and gamettes, there's 10 things we learned this week. Hey, thanks for watching this edition. If you like what you saw here, then you should know that we post new videos and content almost every day, so be sure to stay tuned during the week for more videos from me and Cyril. Well, actually not from me. I'm taking a sabbatical for a couple of weeks, and then I got to speak to Cyril about that contract of ours. But here's the question I have for you in the meantime. What gaming series would you like to see converted into a karting series? I for one would like to see a Mortal Kombat crossover. Imagine the fatalities at full speed. It'd be so much fun. But let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. In other news, we'll be back next week with more features, videos and content, so I strongly recommend you click that subscribe button and enable notifications to support what we're doing here. Until then,